All right, guys, what is going on? Welcome to the live stream. It is Tuesday. All right. Yeah, it's Tuesday. That is today, the 6th. We are 6 days into the new year. Some of you took your first trade of the year today. Some of you did pretty well. It's a good job. It is a good job. What's good, Roberto, Marshall, Convicted Capitalist, Monkey, Eric, Slowly, MJ, Big James, 2020, Jorks, Arno, Julius, Sean, Eberneth, Patch. All right, starting off with 22 today. Starting off with 22. Cool. What's good, Torty? Man, I feel clean. I bought some goop. And it's like this Play-Doh, but made of gelatin. And it's for your car, basically. So it picks up like dust and debris, stuff like that. And I like rolled it all over my desk here. Feel clean. Sometimes you just gotta clean, chat. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm excited about that. But anyway, price action wise, I don't have too much for you today. If you refer back to what we discussed yesterday, all right, yesterday at length, we talked about Friday's price action. We talked a little bit, maybe, about yesterday's, but mostly we went over Friday, right? And that's got to be electric or electronic. Okay. I thought I had the wrong height right there. Okay. Yesterday we talked about Friday's price action in detail. Oh, now we got 40. Cool. On the smaller time frames. Then we zoomed out, went to the 1 hour, right, Tia? And we talked about these highs up here. We talked about the low being set, crossing 50% into a premium, back below 50%, right? Discount. We were looking for longs on Friday ahead of time, right? The low being taken out, then a run to the high, or highs rather. That ended up being, right, the low of the day, low of the week, and currently low of the month, which is cool, even though it's only been a couple days. But now we are back into a premium. And again, if we are going to get a run up here, if the low has been set, then we may be in the second leg to go higher. Did we discuss anything else? I don't really think so. I mean, we talked about like concepts and whatnot. Sure. But the overall higher time frame bias is bullish. Simple as that. So today, and I'm on regular trading hours if you can't tell, if you can't see that, I always mark, well, usually, I try to mark the opening range gap with the teal box and the teal fib levels, so you know that they're from the previous day's close up to today's open. So we opened higher, little bit of volatility there in the first few minutes of the day, right? Usually the first 30 minutes is the most volatile throughout the day. Not always, but sometimes, right? Most of the time, I'd say. So during that volatility, we did get a, I don't usually say spike, but I guess we sort of wick right into, this is NQ on a 5-minute, we wick into our opening range gap. We don't really meet 50%. We leave the majority of the bottom half open, and you guys typically know what that means. If the higher time frame is bullish and we start seeing concepts that do what? Leave the bottom half open, right? That's right here. And I will use a different color so we can differentiate here, right? Everybody see that? See how easy that is? Bottom half left open, 8:45, new 15-minute candle, we take off. We do get a retracement, we don't go back into the gap, then we make a new high of day at 11:35. So if you took longs today, you probably did well. Shorts probably not so much unless you really got in close, somewhere up here. So I would just be careful shorting when the higher time frame is bullish. Again, it's not to say you can't do it. It's not to say that you know, just avoid it altogether, but just again, if you have this idea that we're going to run above these highs, I'm probably not going to do that today or tomorrow, but you know, I don't ever know like what day and what time it's going to do that. But generally speaking, what is the bias? What do I favor more than the other? And again, if this is a buy model, if this is our first leg, we came back into a discount. If this is our second leg, then we would currently be bullish until I am proven wrong. Meaning if we trade back down below 50% again, I'd say, then that may not be accurate. Does that make sense? So with that, we already got Monday's high right there, right? We already got that. This would be Friday the 2nd, like the yearly open, basically. Almost. Yeah, that Thursday, and then that Friday high here. So that's probably going to be the next target, 803. So we shall see. You guys have any questions so far? Do you guys have any questions so far? Yes, similar story, but not the same. I want to say Dow is at all-time highs. So that's I guess 50K then. See that? Again, that may not be today, but that looks fresh. You know what I mean? Fresh like Febreze, dog. Okay. Well, since you guys have no questions, I guess I'll give you a quick update then on the calendar. All right, so again, with today being the 6th, we are here. So, which means if you planned accordingly, if you planned ahead of time, then you should be almost done, if not already done, with the first 5 chapters. Are you guys done with the first 5 chapters yet? Drop a 1 in the chat if you guys have done 1 through 5 already. How to Read a Book is our book of the month for this year, for January. Drop a 1 if you have completed chapters 1 through 5. Let me know. Let me know. Sean's on chapter 4. Very good. Robert with the 1s. Very good. MJ's on chapter 3. A little bit behind. No worries. Have I read this before now? No. I'm reading like 10. It's probably more than 10, honestly, but I'm not trying to impress you, honestly. Me personally, I've finished the first 10 chapters, but I also started reading prior to January. I'm only like maybe 20 minutes left from completing my second book of the year. And then I have like half of Measure What Matters, so I'll probably finish that within the next week. So I should have 3 books done by Wednesday of next week. So 14 days into the new year, I should have 3 completed books by then. But again, I'm ahead. They're already halfway done. I only have to read the second half or maybe 1 or 2 chapters left. So it's not like I start and complete an entire book in the last couple days. I've done that. It doesn't. That's the thing, chat. As we watch NQ, that's when I got in the car today, and I went to Whataburger for some taquitos. I wanted breakfast, right? And I made sure to bring a book with me. I always do that. And it would also make me hypocritical if I told you to do it and not do it myself. So I did stop by Kroger on the way home, and I read a little bit there too. But when I got in the car and I went on my Instagram story and I said, hey, listen, always bring a book with you. That's number 7 on the 26 rules for life in 2026. I think a lot of us don't realize how much time we actually spend on our phones. And I forget where it's at. But I guess if you have an iPhone, if you go all the way to the left and you scroll down, it tells you how much time you spend on Instagram, X, Facebook, you know, and various apps. Let me see. Okay, so my daily average. Now, mind you, I do spend a lot of time on social media. I'm a creator. I have to, right? I stream on YouTube. I am online. But even then, my daily average, according to the last 7 days, is 6 hours and 11 minutes. Last week was just under 7 hours. It was 6 hours and 51 minutes. Right? Now, even with almost 7 hours on social media, again, and that's crossed between Instagram, Facebook, messengers, you know, there you go. Even with almost 7 hours on the phone, I still read more than most people. Because that's the thing. Most people say, "Oh, I don't have time. I got to do this. I got to do that." No, we all have the same time. We all work with the same 24 hours in a day. Not everybody agrees. Some people say, "Oh, well, I've got responsibilities and all that other shit." Right. And who decided that? You. We all have the same 24 hours. Okay? To say otherwise is retarded and quite literally wrong. You're an idiot. We all have the same amount of time every single day. Now, you might have priorities that take your time, sure. But again, who made those decisions? Who made those choices? You did. So if you are on your phone, let's say, for an example, like me, apparently 7 hours a day on average, that's exactly where your time is going. So if you're not reading enough, if you're not studying enough, you know exactly how you spend your time. So I'm not saying you can't scroll. Okay? Look, you got to go to the bathroom, you got to take a break at work, you want to scroll? Be my guest. I ain't going to stop you. But these other, like, let's say bigger chunks of time, you know, the last 2 hours before bed, the first hour of the day, you know, stuff like that, that's where you can be squeezing in more time reading a book. You just don't want to do it. And then you wonder, you know, a lot of people on Twitter right now, at least my algorithm's giving me all this shit right now. You know, how do people read 50 books, 100 books a year? I don't read 100 books a year. The people that read that much, they read like bullshit books. Most of it's dialogue and it's not full pages anyway, and it's not intellectually stimulating. So it's usually porn anyway. So it's like a waste. It's not even like real reading in my book, pun intended. When it comes to like actual books, you can read a lot more than you think you can. So anyway, I don't know how we got here. Oh yeah, always bring a book with you. What are your thoughts on electronic? I got those already. Electronic trading hour lows. For NQ or for ES? Because these lows down here, you might be referring to like these. I don't know. I don't know. That 750 random time set the low. And then our, again, equities, we had traded higher here initially and then lower, leaving that bottom half open and then higher again. So I wouldn't look at those like we're going to trade down there. I would not look at this like a short. No, we're probably not going to do that. Nicholas read chapter 5 first. Interesting. I did the same thing with 48 Laws of Power. That was the first book that I read out of order. Like not 1 through 48. I jumped around, skipped around. But for the reread in, I think it's June or July, one of those, somewhere in there, I'll probably read straightforward. Oh, you can also search screen time as well. Okay. However you get to it is how you get to it. But my point is, technology does have its pros and cons. The con is it'll suck up all your time if you let it, but the pro is that it tells you where that time is going. So at least if you're smart enough to look, you'll see it. You know? That's why I got rid of threads. I like for me, I had to get rid of I had to get rid of threads. It's awful. All social media is basically the same. It's the same people just on different platforms, right? Um but so many people, and again, I hate to say it, it makes me sound so unprofessional, but on like most people are just fucking retarded. I'm sorry. Most people are just stupid. And we're talking like generally speaking here. You know, they don't read, they don't have critical thinking skills, and it's sad to see. It's sad to see, bro. Really. People are broke, overweight, unhealthy, and you want to sit there and argue with people on the internet over stuff that just doesn't even matter, you know? And I found myself arguing and commenting a lot more than I should be. So I was like, dude, I got to get rid of this app. So I got off of Threads, and I don't have TikTok either. I could feel, not literally, but like the way that I feel is I could feel myself getting retarded the more time I spent on TikTok, the more impatience I would have. I would start losing my level of patience. And I could see, I'm like, okay, this is bad. And I don't, this is, I need to get back into books again, and less scrolling, more reading. So where do you think these ideas come from? Like the stuff that I write about or the stuff that I post about, where do you think that shit comes from? It comes from reading others, but it comes from reflecting on my own life as well. That's why I try to pass it along to you guys. I try to pass knowledge along. You know, not everybody likes it. It's cool, but I'm gonna do it either way, whether you like it or not. 6939. That's like down here, probably somewhere like those. Yeah, I mean, in a way. But what I can also tell you is this was the mitigation model during London. See this? Low, high. Look at the bodies. Okay. Low, high, lower, low, higher, high. And we trade right back into this. Those two right there. Right. Mitigation model requires some sort of inefficiency, whether it be an imbalance or a gap. We could probably include that. This would refine it a little bit. So I would like to go with that. So that on the 1 hour, right? Again, traded into during London. Okay, right at 230 is when we had our low set. And then despite us, despite the market leaving behind equal lows, those are equal lows on a small time frame. And again, coming back to this idea that the higher time frame, my opinion, higher time frame is bullish. So the market can leave these open and we can still trade higher. You see that? When we get to the charts, a lot of you at this point are probably like me. You get to the charts, you open up whatever time frame, or you go through the different time frames, and your eyes go straight to equal highs, equal lows, low resistant highs, low resistant lows. But remember, it's more than that. It's more complex than that. Time is obviously a very big factor. Higher time frame bias is a very big factor. So I'm not going to say the lower the time frame, the lower the probability, but I will say if we are in a higher time frame bullish environment, to me that just seems like a candidate for leaving equal lows open. Does that make sense? So these are, what do we say, 5 minute, maybe a 1 minute, 15 minute, I guess, right? That can be left open. Small time frame pool of liquidity, but larger time frame mitigation model, larger time frame bias of being bullish. So the market is allowed to leave those open and trade higher. So that's why I said I wouldn't short this. We are back, at least for ES, we are back in this gap. Let's go back to the daily for a second, just so you can see where this is from. So you know I'm not just making shit up. Thursday the 11th, that close to the open of Friday the 12th, right? 6984.5 to 6973.75. And then there's just a gradient on it. There's just a fib tool on it. So although the end of the year, like the late Christmas week right here, although that does stab above the old high here, the bodies are still staying within that. Fine. And so what I'm saying is we are trading higher and we are back into that gap at the moment. So I'm not saying, hey, I'm going to short this, because I'm not. It's just a markup. It's an old markup. We respected the lower quadrant here in the morning, and we stabbed above it during lunch, and we are still within that gap right here with live price, live data. Yeah, Nicholas, I don't know. I don't know either. Very few people are actually open to admitting that they're wrong. No, it's okay. One of the comments I made the other day was, you can't expect people who don't read the Bible to know what's in it. If you don't read something, you don't know what's in it. If you don't watch a movie, you don't know what it's about. I mean, somebody could probably tell you, sure, but you can't judge a book fairly if you haven't read it. So to say, oh, well, the Bible says this, the Bible says that, you don't know what the Bible says, bro. You ain't read it. You didn't read it, so stop talking. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's so bizarre to me, you know? So yeah, people are dumb, man. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. That's reality for you. That is reality for you. Yeah. So I gotta do less of that. I keep telling myself to do that, like argue less. But I know a lot of people read comments without actually interacting, and I like to at least provide a correction if somebody's wrong, so that way other people see it and don't fall victim to nonsense. But it's a thankless job. It's an endless job, and it's a tiresome job. Omar says, "Am I incels?" No, I said like 5 minutes ago I'm not shorting this, and I pointed to the 803 and a quarter level for NQ's next target, which is Friday's high. I think 845. Yeah. Okay. I thought that was a pre-market high for a second. That was equities open high from Friday. I said that would be the next upside target, and I wouldn't short this. It's not to say the market can't go lower. It can. I just don't think it will. What else you got for me? What else you got, chat? There's 57. 57. I know the chat is member only. I'm keeping it member only. Oh, that's a great question, Tio. I actually forgot about that. Tio said, "Are you buying oil stocks like Chevron and stuff now? Like everyone on social media is going crazy right now." I think Halliburton was up like 10% yesterday at one point, and then I think it closed up like 6%. I would expect probably there's always going to be an initial reaction, right? If there is like a steep decline during that decline, I would probably look to sell puts, if not buying stock. But oil stocks, man, not my favorite. You know, when oil went negative, I think it was 2020 or 2021, and Halliburton was like $3, $4. Um, I sold that shit way too early. I sold that thing at like 10 or 12. And I mean it was great, but it went from 12 to like 40. Um, again, impatience, right? That will probably never happen again. That was the first time something like that really ever happened in the oil industry to that degree. Especially negative futures contracts, which I still don't really fully understand exactly what happened. But I remember, let me see. Let's go back. Let's go way back, big fellas. Some of y'all don't remember. Oh, it's 2020. Some of y'all don't remember this. This was one of the greatest opportunities that I've ever seen in terms of stocks that I watched. Because I've watched, I'll tell you this, Halliburton was the first stock I ever knew about. Because my dad worked for Halliburton for a long time. When I was like in elementary or middle school, he told me, "Oh, we just got some stocks from the stock purchase program." I'm like, "What the hell is a stock?" "It's a piece of a company." I'm like, "Well, that still doesn't tell me shit. Like, what is a stock? Come on, Dad, tell me." So Halliburton was my first introduction into the stock market. So it has a special place in my heart too. But anyway, this is like a $40 stock that went down to like $5-6. And in hindsight, I should have thrown everything at that. I should have sold my clothes and everything and put it all into Halliburton stock. Probably Halliburton options, to be honest with you. If we look back in that 2020, when we dipped down to 5, we had essentially taken out the low of 2008. And I want to say maybe even that low. I don't know. Or close to it. Oh, no, it did. The low of 2001 and 2000. And I was like 8 years old. I'm 9 years old at that point. So when that happened, right? And this is generally like a $40 stock. Okay. Sometimes 70, sometimes, low 30s, whatever. That was one of the most greatest opportunities ever to me. At least for Halliburton. I don't think it's ever going to do that again. Unless this company just goes to shit and then it just stays down there. But what I will tell you is if you look at a monthly/weekly chart, we got some pretty clean highs up here at 40. I'm gonna round up and say 44. Right? Very, very clean highs from 2022 to 2023. So we could be headed up there. But what I'm saying is this was our initial, I don't even know what to call it. Some people are saying, oh, we kidnapped the president of Venezuela, but it's like, well, is he really the president though? I don't know. I don't really know much about the subject. Okay. I know I see headlines, right? So I kind of know in a general sense what's happening, but specifics, I don't know shit. But all that political stuff aside, what I do know is this was over the weekend, and what I'm saying is like on the next decline. So if we end up trading back below, that weekend news, right? If we get back down, let's say 26 or something, then I would consider selling puts on it. Meaning we could sell puts for lower pricing with the expectation that we're going to go higher. So all those contracts would probably expire worthless and we would keep the premium for it. So I could see something like that, but this is not my area of expertise. Okay. Number one, oil stocks, not my favorite. And number two, like fundamentally speaking, I don't know what this means. Are we gonna, is the US taking over Venezuela? We're taking all your oil and saying, yeah, appreciate it. And, what does that call for? Does that call for higher pricing, lower pricing? I don't know. I do not know. Someone said Chevron, what is it, CVX? Is it CVX? Oh, it is. Look at that shit. That gap higher yesterday, and then we gave all that back today. And this is what I mean. Like on the news, there's an initial reaction, and then there's correction, I guess, if you want to use that language. But someone said that Chevron has some sort of advantage because they're the only company that is legally allowed to do operations in Venezuela. I don't know how true that is. I don't know what that means. This is the extent of what I know, or of what I have heard. So what does that mean for this particular stock? I'm not sure. But when I look at this weekly chart, I look at this and this is awful. This is terrible. This is terrible for buying and holding. Now, I mean, maybe options trading would probably be a lot better in this environment. But I would probably sell puts on this too. But ultimately, I don't know. I don't know. Usually, we're going to see what everybody else is doing and go the other way. So if everybody's bullish, Chevron, Halliburton, Schlumberger or Schlumberger, whatever it is, you know, Exxon, all this shit. If everybody's excited about going bullish, it's probably going to do what it's doing today and rip everyone a new booty hole. That's how markets operate. They're going to bamboozle. They're going to give an inch and then take a mile. Your ass is grass. So, we don't know. Overall expectation, excuse me, expectation for indices for 2026, extreme bullish, or do you see a retracement? I think is what you're meant to ask me there. The beginning of the year can be tricky. January can be tricky sometimes. The same way that some people don't like December. December's not bad. It's usually not like the best month of the year either, I'd say. But again, we've talked about this before, time and time again. Whatever single year will do, I don't know. But I'm usually bullish long term. Okay? Now, I know we did call the low of the year last year to the day. I know. But again, I'll probably not do that again. Don't expect that. That was probably a one and done for me. Okay? But minus the 2022 year, because that was a down year, I think, for the most part. Almost every other year has been higher and higher and higher. A lot of these old heads, the guys in their 50s and 60s, they think all this shit is irrational. Stocks shouldn't be this high, inflation this. I bought a house for $12 and some grapes or whatever. Like, bro, you're out of touch with reality. You don't know shit. This stuff can keep flying. The market can stay irrational longer than most people can stay solvent. I heard that somewhere on Twitter, probably. So, since the jump, since I've been teaching, specifically with indices, I've always said, be bullish. There's fucking 804. Wow. Real fucking hard, huh? Wizardry. Real fucking price. Anyway, I've always said, listen, long term, stocks are bullish. The indices are bullish. When they aren't, the stocks that are in there, when they go to shit, they get replaced with stocks that are doing better. So it's this constant cycle of, we want the best stocks here. Why would that not be bullish? Majority of the time. Not every day. Not even every year. There's going to be down close years. But in a majority sense, okay, go to it. Well, not on futures, but like on triple Qs, for example. Dog, look at a monthly chart. Look at a monthly chart. Right? And a long time, when I was still part of the MLM industry and people kept telling me, oh, I'm blowing my accounts and all this shit, I'd be like, yeah, what are you doing? You're probably shorting indices. Well, yeah, but you know, this person said that and this. Fuck them, dude. You're losing your ass because you're shorting this, bro. Look at it. Look at the fucking chart. You're shorting against this. Dumb move. Dumb move. Okay. Long term, this stuff is bullish. Yes, you're going to have down months or a down year. Yes, you're going to have stuff like at the beginning of last year when we had some high volatility, right? Taking out some old lows. You are going to have stuff like that. Markets don't move in a straight line. You know this. But you also know not to be scared when you see this happening. When there's peak fear, that's probably going to be the low. That's how we picked the low of the year last year to the day. Very little technical analysis, very much fading the public. Right. So, this close to all-time highs, we probably will continue printing and printing. I would want to see something like this, right? Give us a down month or a couple of down months, right? Let us position ourselves for, you know, the next 2 to 3 years, the same way we did JP Morgan, the same way we did Google, the same way we did Microsoft, right? I know I keep kind of beating a dead horse here, but you remember this, right? Those dips below the yearly open, massive retracements, they're just taking out old lows to ultimately go higher, right? JP Morgan, dog, look at that shit. Look at that. 133 back in April of 2023, and this thing is at 300s, 330s. That's fucking nasty, dude. That's nasty. And there's dividends all throughout this whole fucking thing. So that's, I don't even know what the percentage is. It's disgusting that I know that. 133 up to today, 150% and dividends. Not bad. Right. But it's these dips for, you know, a few weeks or a couple bad months, a bad quarter maybe. Okay. A bad quarter for a good stock is a good entry. You won't write that down either, but that's okay. That's okay, chat. I'll tell it to you again whenever the time is right. But here's our 12:50. Here's our 1 o'clock macro. But that's really it, man. We had another discussion today. We had another, look at that. Right? Price is so hard. It's not hard. It's not hard. What's hard is trading when you're undisciplined, or if you're scared, or if you're over leveraging, or if you're trading without a plan, or if you're trading just on a 5-minute or a 1-minute and not looking at the hourly or the daily, right? The map is not the territory. If you don't follow the rules, yeah, trading is going to be difficult. But if you follow the rules, you're going to do okay. So it's the same thing all the time. Top-down analysis, finding the liquidity, and trading in that direction. Friday, you saw it. Yesterday, I don't know what happened yesterday. I think we spent so much time looking at Friday's price action, we didn't really do anything yesterday. And then today, right? We are near high of day, sure. Still calling for higher pricing, still going higher. Wow. Because again, that's the power of the higher time frames. Okay? That's the power. If we have the highs up here. Again, if we are in the second leg, then this thing's bullish and this is not bearish. So despite, I know I explained this earlier, but despite whatever you see, oh, well, we've got some equal lows. We do. We do. I'm not going to argue that. You can't, nobody can argue with what price has done. If the lows are equal, then they're equal. Yeah, they're there. Right? What's ES doing? I wouldn't short that. Bang, it's going higher. Wow. Random and unpredictable. A bad quarter on a good stock is a good entry? Yeah. it won't be the perfect entry, but like the beginning of a new quarter. Yeah. Look at a 3-month chart. What do you think a 3-month chart is? It's a quarterly chart. Triple Qs, bad quarter. January, February, March. So then April, right, starts a new quarter, trades lower to go higher. So that bad quarter, the opening of a new quarter, boom. I mean, yeah, you would have taken drawdown, but this is a good quarter still. That's 3 months out. It's like 90 days out. How do we know what option expiries to go with? That's why you don't write stuff down, dude. Then you don't know the details. Then you ask me. But what I will say is this, Omar. If Trump does speak in a few minutes, then that's probably I would toss any of our current tools out the window. We already met the target for 804. If Trump speaks, you know, that could be the excuse to move the markets in either directions or maybe both directions. I don't know. I don't always try to predict, you know, what's going to happen when somebody speaks, whether it be Powell or Trump or whoever. I don't try to do that. So we'll go ahead and close it here. Hopefully you guys got some value today. Where's the likes? How many likes do we have? We have 50 people, 17 likes. Let's see if we can get above 20. Drop a like if you guys got some value today. Every day may not be exciting. Every day may not present, you know, some beautiful, magnificent opportunity. But at least you're watching real price in real time, technically before it actually prints. But hopefully my commentary kind of gives you something to think about, gives you something to take notes on, you know, gives you something to consider, right? Something to investigate. Quarterly opens, options contracts. Well, what the fuck is he talking about? Right? Get your brain going. Get the critical thinking going. Get the blood flowing, bro. Turn the brain on. Right? That is my goal. That's one of my goals for you, is to think. Okay? Think for yourself. So yeah, y'all be good, be blessed. I'll put out the market view later this evening. I'll see you tomorrow on Wednesday the 7th for the next live stream right here on YouTube.
Partagée, encore peut-être inavouée, peut-être encore jamais dévoilée. Je l'ai vu à la télé. Si je mange vers un enfer, faut t'avouer et ta moitié pardonner. Et on en reparlera si tu dis la vérité. Et j'ai pas le temps me laisser envahir par tous les faux sourires. Et j'ai pas le temps me laisser envahir par tous les faux sourires. Et j'ai tout quitté afin de te trouver. Je t'ai trouvé dans la foi, au fond d'enfui là au moi. Et j'ai tout quitté afin de te trouver. Je t'ai trouvé dans la foi, au fond d'enfui là au moi. Si je mange, je vais m'en faire. 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 À quoi tu penses dans mon absence? J'ai un parfum d'espérance au fond de moi. Au fond de moi. Y'a comme un manque de cohérence dans ce malheureux silence au fond de toi. Au fond de toi. Et sourire. Et j'ai pas le temps de me laisser envahir par tous les faux sourires. Et j'ai tout quitté afin de te trouver. Je t'ai trouvé dans la foi, au fond d'enfui là au moi. Et j'ai tout quitté afin de te trouver. Je t'ai trouvé dans la foi, au fond d'enfui là au moi. Si je mange, je vais m'en faire. Si je mange, je vais m'en